We're going to be talking plants. Now, I got to tell you something. If you've ever walked into a nursery and you have not seen Bonnie plants, you haven't walked into a nursery. You probably walked into the kind of nursery that has little kids running around it, not plants. Because Bonnie plants, they are the leaders in vegetable plants, and we've got the distribution manager of Bonnie plants with us, Sidney Phelps. Hey, Sidney, how you doing?
Hey, Nick, how's it going, man?
You know, it goes any better, they're going to have to arrest me, so let's not go there, okay?
All right, I hear you.
All right, before we even get started, I have to shake the hand of the person that created that biodegradable container you guys have. Is that too cool or what?
It is. It is one of the best things. You know, I've worked with this company for about 14 years now, and that is
Wow.
one of my favorite things that we've got. You know, not only is it cool for novice gardeners and experienced gardeners, it's something that is saving, and from an environmental standpoint, millions of pounds of plastic from going into landfills.
Oh, indeed it is, because when you look at these little containers, folks, and in fact, I just did something recently on television with these things, and so cool because you take this biodegradable container, and it has this little plastic wrapper around it, and it's real thin, and you could take it and you slice it off, and you could recycle that. Put it in your blue trash can thing over there, and they'll recycle it again. You've got this plant, and then you take the whole thing and you put it in the ground. You don't have to mess around with pulling out roots, because if you've ever done this before, and Sydney, you've probably done this yourself, where you've taken a plant and you could turn it upside down all you want. You start smacking the bottom of it, and then when you end up pulling the container out, three-quarters of those roots are in one hand, and that little tiny plant is screaming, "What happened?"
And the rest of the soil's in the bottom of the container, and you keep beating, and not to say what else happens during the process. But yeah, you're right. You take that biodegradable pot, you crush the bottom of it after you take the wrapper off, throw it in the ground, no transplant shot, roots go right through, everything works out perfect. So if you are a master gardener, you're going to love it, because you don't have to clean up all those cups that are laying around and try to figure out what to do with them. If you're a novice gardener, it's pretty simple. Okay, I cut the wrapper off, I tear the bottom off, I plant the whole thing. I'm done. Let's go watch, TV or listen to you on the radio, Nick, and let's get on with this thing.
Indeed, I like that way of thinking. That's for sure. Hey, the other thing I enjoy about it is if teachers would grab onto this concept and go down to a local nursery and get some of these, get them for the whole class, of course, and you can do science projects with them, because it's so cool to see when you take the container and you put it in another container that has soil in it, and you let it sit there for a day or two, and then you could pull it out and you could see the roots poking out.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you've got a lesson that could be planned in there. In fact, if any teacher wants any information, that I'll help you out with creating a curriculum for that, because that's really exciting. All right, that said, it's time to do some gardening. So, what types of vegetable plants does Sidney have in his yard?
Well, I tell you what, Nick, they always joke about a mechanic never has a good truck, and a shoe salesman never has a good pair of shoes. Plant man's life, you don't really have a lot of time to garden, because we want to make sure that everybody else gardening has a great time with what they're doing. But spring is right around the corner, and we're going crazy right now down here, getting stuff out, and tomatoes and peppers and herbs, summer crop. You talk about it. Our greenhouses are on full speed right now.
Now, you guys pretty much cover most of the United States, don't you, with distribution?
That's right. We cover all of the lower 48 in North America. We do some of the parts of Alaska, as well as the Toronto area in Canada.
Wow, we broadcast to Alaska too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. We worked the southern tier of Alaska. We service all the major retailers nationwide, as well as various independent garden retailers across the country. If like you said, if you haven't been in a garden center, you haven't looked for Bonnie, just go to our website, bonnieflats.com. There's a dealer finder that you can enter in your city or your zip code, and they'll pop up every retailer that's around you that carries our products.
All right, one of the questions that I get all the time is What should I grow? I'm a beginning gardener. What's the first thing I should grow? Sydney, what would you suggest? What kind of bonnie plant should they pick up to plant as their very first vegetable plant?
I'm really partial to herbs, Nick. I like to do a lot of cooking, and it's something that's simple to grow, first of all, because you want to have an enjoyable experience. That's the most important thing. You don't
Yes.
want to have a nightmare the first time you try something. So if you're a first-time gardener and you have limited space or you have a lot of space, that really determines it too. I like using herbs. First off, that's the way it's something I can engage into my food. Or, you want to do salads. You make salad bowls or, a little salad garden. We've got different plans for novice style gardeners for like a pizza garden that has oregano and Roma tomatoes and basil, and salad gardens that have the different types of salad mixes or romaines, head lettuces, red lettuces, broccolis, and all that to go into that. So it really kind of determines you want to kind of stick to a plan of what you're wanting to do and lay it out and get herbs. Like I said, are my favorite. Rosemary, thyme, oregano, parsley's right there. Clip them, throw them right in the dishes as you're cooking them. There's nothing better than that freshness that goes with that.
And the best part is with plants like those, like your herbs that you're mentioning, you could start grazing on them the second that you buy them. You don't have
Exactly.
you don't have to wait until you get this huge, giganormous plant. You can start just right away. You get yourself some of that peppermint or whatever it is, and just take a leaf here and the rest is history.
Exactly. It's
You're
it's
hooked.
it's an easy stair step, but then you can move into doing the bigger tomatoes and doing the more raised bed gardens or in the ground or in the containers. Containers are becoming really really popular, especially with gardeners who have limited space or patios.
Hmm.
Doing a container with like a Roma tomato and planting some herbs around it, a grower, a shower, and a draper, I guess you could say. You put them around the sides, and it's something that you've got right there that you can pick off of in one spot. You're getting 4 or 5 plants in one container, utilizing what space you have.
Yeah, just keep them watered, keep them fed, make sure that soil doesn't dry out, and the things will take care of you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I sure like that idea. I sure have also seen a really big surge in lettuces.
Oh, without a doubt. We added radicchio this year as a new item. But you've got lettuces. Lettuces and spinach have become huge, as well as Swiss chard.
Yeah.
I've seen the expansion on that just in the past 2 or 3 years go through the roof. But I have to admit, there's nothing better than going right out to your garden, picking a fresh, leaves of lettuce and broccoli, taking it inside, and saving that $7, $8 for cold storage lettuce in the supermarket.
Oh, absolutely. I'll give you an example of something that happened just this last week. I went to a birthday party for one of my nieces, and my wife had taken just some good old fashioned iceberg lettuce, and then she also took some of the leaf lettuce from our vegetable garden. Nobody touched the iceberg lettuce that came from the market. It was all that fresh stuff. I mean, why not? It just melts in your mouth and it looks better, it tastes better. So growing your own vegetable garden and knowing that bonnie plants are there to make that whole process easier is so nice to know. Just so nice
Oh,
to know. Yeah. Well, listen,
yes.
Sydney, I want to thank you very much for being on the program and firing us up over here, man. I got to tell you, you're kind of infectious when you talk, and I appreciate that. Hopefully, we can have you on again soon, and we can talk a little bit more about what can go in there and more information and ideas for the beginning and season gardener. And give us that website one more time, would you please?
All right, Nick. The website is bonnieplants.com. You can go there, check out everything. We've got all the starter things that you need, where to find the plants, how to grow them. And Nick, I'd love to come back on. I really enjoyed it speaking with you today. It's fun to get excited for spring.
Fantastic. Again, that's the voice of Sidney Phelps, the distribution manager of Bonnie Plants. Thank you very much. Go to your local nursery and garden center and ask for Bonnie Plants by name.